Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to talk about the pre-endless Dreamrealm meta on day 3 of the VN server. Now we have already shown you on the first 2 days Ravion being in the top team. However, for Nocturne Judicator, Ravion is not going to be in the top team like we predicted. So the current top team that has been found on the VN server is going to be using the same heroes even used for endless difficulty of Nocturne Judicator on the global server. It just has a bit of a different position. But it has the Twins for buffing, Hugin for buffing, Valar for stat steal buff effect, Croaker for the debuff, and Shakir for further buffing, and actually being used with the Star Short spell rather than any seasonal artifact. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay just to show it to you in action. But this is basically confirming that almost throughout the season, pre-endless and endless, for Nocturne Judicator specifically, these are going to be the same 5 heroes which are going to be run in the optimal teams, more than likely. Now the thing is, right after Nocturne Judicator tomorrow, we're going to have Sigmund. And it is also very unlikely that Ravion will be in the top team for Sigmund, because we actually did face Sigmund on the global server in endless difficulty, and Ravion had no place there, and he just will not really fit well because of the fact that Sigmund will keep periodically stripping buffs from your team, and Ravion will not reapply buffs. He will provide those buffs to your allies, and then when they complete their objective, he's going to give them that bonus attack buff, and then if that is removed, Ravion has no way of reapplying that in the future, and then basically all of that attack buff is going to go to waste. So that is really the thing about Ravion for these two bosses, Nocturne Judicator, Sigmund. He will not be meta, but it is good news if you watched my video yesterday that Ravion is meta for both Necrodraken and also Thalassa as a buffer for Sinbad and Necrodraken and for Shamira in Thalassa, and that probably means that he will be the best buffer for maybe some other bosses which will be coming up apart from these two, which we'll go ahead and speculate a little bit. But yeah, that is definitely a thing to keep your eyes out. If you haven't pulled Ravion yet, if you haven't swapped for him yet, and you're still waiting, keep waiting, because for these two bosses, Nocturne Judicator, Sigmund, is basically no chance for Ravion being useful. But then we're going to have the new bosses of the season, which are really going to be interesting. Mirage Frostpike, the Magmazard, Blightshroom, and King Croaker. And honestly, it's really difficult to say if Ravion or what type of team is going to be best in these different bosses, but I can definitely imagine Ravion being good for maybe all 4 of them, because there's not really any mechanic which will strip your buffs. There isn't a mechanic which is like, you know, Nocturne Judicator, where you just have one Midnight Hunter doing all the work for you and you just need to buff him, because Ravion can only buff Rearmost. He's not able to buff that Midnight Hunter, and that's mainly the problem. But for these other bosses, it's just, there's potential that Ravion could be good, and that's something that we have to watch out for in the upcoming days. But I basically just wanted to update you guys on this. Probably I will not update you on Sigmund tomorrow, because it's pretty much predicted that he will not be good there. But then for those 4 bosses which are coming up, we're gonna have to wait and see about that, and I have high hopes for Ravion. The other thing that I want to talk about is King Croaker, because King Croaker is a boss which has come back. He has more instant defeats than ever. He actually now has the ability of instant defeating 4 times rather than 3 times before, and so I think a hero which can revive, whether it be Talene or a hero like Saida, who can take these insta-kills and just respawn herself, that's probably going to be the best way of dealing with King Croaker, because even now Thorin can take 3 insta-kills. However, he cannot take the 4th one, and that will leave one of your teammates susceptible to actually dying. And it's kind of the same problem with Fresto. Fresto, if he even resummons his illusion, he can take up to 3 insta-kills. He cannot take the 4th one, and then one of your teammates is going to die, and you're not going to have them for the remaining 30 seconds of the match. And so that is why I honestly think probably meta for King Croaker will be either Talene or Saida to tank those insta-kills. And I'm hoping Talene can make a comeback, because that would be exciting, of course. The only other boss which has a really unique mechanic is Blightshroom, because it will deny your energy recovery. You're going to be able to get maybe 1 or 2 ultimates off from one of your team members, and then basically that is going to be it. You're going to have your energy continuously drained. You're not going to be recasting ultimate. Now, I think Ravion could still be fine here. You just have to buff up with your attack buff, like a normal attack-based damage dealer, whether it be Odie, whether it be Indris, whether maybe even be Nazwick, who's coming out later in the season. But the other thing is, when you think about Ravion, because he buffs Rearmost, he's not going to have the greatest synergy with Zany, because Zany, you want the attack buff going on her frontmost turret, who is dealing the majority of the damage, and Ravion is never really able to get that buff onto the frontmost turret, because at the very least it would be buffing the rearmost turret, or it would be buffing some other hero you have in the back. And so I think Ravion also doesn't have great synergy with Zany, which also weakens Zany, because Ravion is an incredible buffer, and honestly, I'm just predicting that Ravion is probably going to be very meta for multiple pre-endless bosses, because his damage is also high. He's just basically Sonja 2.0. He's like version 2.0 of Sonja, the upgraded, new and improved buffer and damage dealer for these pre-endless Dream bosses mainly, but also some use in endless or to by buffing up Heroic like we've seen in global server so far. But anyway guys, let me know your thoughts about Ravion. If you've already recruited for him, let me know. Otherwise, if you're planning to wait and see, keep waiting, because we will know once we have a full rotation of the 8 bosses. We will have a lot of information from both global side with the endless and also pre-endless on the VN side. We will have a good idea and can safely make a decision onto Ravion. But for right now, he's looking like a pretty important hero, probably a pull. But thanks for watching, guys. If you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There's a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.